time for our news stories. This first news story comes from Screen Rant, written by, wait a second, Carrie Lambertson. That's right. This is written by you. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it? I don't know which is better, you reading your own work or me reading it to you. You already know what it says.
Yeah, whatever, whichever way. I'd have to pull it up if I'm going to read it, but yeah. I can.
No. I can go ahead and read it. I just realized now, like, this is really funny, like, because normally I'm reading it to Adrian because he doesn't know it, but you know it. You wrote it. This is your article.
I wrote it.
Civilization 7 devs share why players should play through the tutorial even as a Civ veteran. As Sid Meier's Civilization 7 release date edges closer, many players are getting excited to jump into their first campaign in the new game. The massive 4x strategy simulation game.
Sorry, I'm going to correct you as you're reading it, but
that's fine. That's because honestly, like, this is a genre that I play very little of, so I'm not up on all the terminology. Massive 4X strategy simulation game has several major features that differentiate it from previous entries in the series. While these big changes were necessary for helping the series to grow and evolve rather than becoming stagnant, it could also prove frustrating for players who are expecting it to be similar to Civ 6. In a recent dev diary that was published on the Steam page for Civ 7, creative director Ed Beach shared some insights and tips for players to incorporate in their first campaign in the game. Alongside discussing the new victory types in this version of Civ, he also stressed the importance of playing using the tutorial and starting on a smaller map initially. Fans experienced with earlier Civ titles may scoff at the idea of playing with a tutorial on, but with so many of our game systems having received upgrades and revisions, we really do recommend sticking with the tutorial for your first full campaign through our 3 ages, Ed Beach says. The first experience with a game can make or break a person's desire to keep playing, particularly in a game where a single campaign can be quite time-consuming. Ensuring that someone is taught the basics before they are lost in a massive map with no tutorial to guide them can be significant given the intricate strategies that the game requires, and how many of those strategies used in previous Civ games are now turned on their heads. So that's kind of the gist for what we're going to be talking about here.
I will say that is really strange having my own article read to me.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a little awkward. There is more to the article, which I highly recommend going and reading, but that's kind of the gist of it that we wanted to talk about tonight. Please go check it out. It's over at Screen Rant. Civ 7 devs share why. There's a lot of cool stuff just talking about with some of the new stuff in the game. But what we wanted to discuss is just like tutorials and games in general. So let's start with Civilization 7, or just Civilization the series, because this is a series you're extremely familiar with, correct? You've been playing it for a long time.
I've played it. I played it since, the original back, in I think it was late 90s when the first one came out. And so, like, the reason why I sent this over to you is because even as I was, like, writing the article and reading the whole thing from Ed Beach, it's like, honestly, even though I've been writing articles for months now about all of the changes that are coming to Civ 7, I wouldn't play the tutorial. I would completely skip it because I played all of this. I played the 20 years of Civilization.
Wow, you are old. 20 decades.
Old.
Okay.
20 years.
20 years, yeah. That's a lot of history with a game. Like, you know this game, right?
I know how to play this game. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be thinking that. But honestly, like, Civ 7 is, like, super, super changing up how a lot of things work. Like, how you win the game is different. How you pick your leaders is different. How the civilizations are going to change with each age. Like, there are major big things that are changing here.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, I see his point about, just try the tutorial. And it's like, even as, like, I wrote this article helping to encourage people that, you should play the tutorial. And then the other day somebody asked me, well, are you going to play through the tutorial? I was like, oh, no. I'm like, wait, maybe I should.
Yeah.
It's just like that instant gut reaction of, no, I don't need that.
I don't need that. I know what I'm doing. I'm not an idiot,
So, like, do you ever do tutorials? Like, even new games that I've never played before at all, I usually skip the tutorial because I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. That's interesting because I I pretty much always do the tutorials to the to the point of even like, if it's not initially, like if you start up a game and it doesn't give me the tutorial, I'll like look through the menus to find one and do it. Like, that's just me. But I'm also like a weirdo, like rule keeper. I can't help
That's
but
the
like
better way to do it. Tutorials are there for a reason.
I'm just, I think also it also comes with like a little bit of that wanting to discover everything, like, you know, like uncovering the map. It's that kind of thing too. Like, oh, what if there's like a cool little feature that I don't know about? You know, how would I ever find out about it? I'm the weirdo who like, and as much as I sing this game's praises and I love it to death, Death Stranding, the way they give you the tutorial through the game is basically these weird little like emails you get. And you have the choice to either read them or not. I don't know. Have you played Death Stranding?
No, I haven't actually.
That, first of all, that's crazy. Secondly, you should play it. I know you have lots of other games we play. There's a lot of games. It is
actually one that is on my radar that I've thought about for, a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, so you get like, I mean, there's some stuff in game and story and stuff, but a lot of the stuff is like, you get these little pings, these little emails, and or like a little pop-up will show up and you have like 2 seconds to read it. And if you don't, then you can go back and like your little, watch thing and watch it or read it later. But there's like, they break it up. There's probably like 200 little things in there that you get throughout the game, and they expect you to read every one of them. But you know what? I'm a madman, and I've read pretty much all of them. Even to the point where even when I was playing the director's cut, I'm like, oh, this is a new little tutorial. This wasn't in the original game. Like a new little feature they're showing off here. So yeah, that's just me. But
honestly, I mean, that's the better way to do it. Tutorials are there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. It's just like something in my head. When I see a tutorial, I'm just like, don't tell me what to do. I'll figure this out. I'm a gamer. I know how to play games.
Yeah.
And it's not doesn't always work the best. So.
Yeah, that's just funny because I mean, I was just gonna say like, oh, okay, so you got that little bit more rebellious personality. I'm like extremely submissive, like I'll do whatever you want, just tell me what to do.
But it's weird too because like I talk about, sorry, she's right in front of the microphone, but like I'll talk about how the tutorial just takes so long. I don't want to read all this. I don't want them telling me what to do. But then in a game like Skyrim or something, where there's, the books scattered around with all the different lore.
Oh, yeah.
I will 100% read all those books. And it's like, fantastic. Why am I reading this? But I won't read how to play the game. So I don't know. But those things are interesting because it's all these little tidbits of lore that you never know, you never think about, unless you actually take the time to look at that. So,
right.
I don't know.
Oh, that's funny. So, talking about Civ 7 a little bit more here, I'm curious to ask you. I kind of skimmed through the article quite a bit earlier because there's, like I said before, there's more sections that go into some more detail on some different things. But looking at some of the changes coming to Civ 7, what are some of the things you are like some of the new features you are excited about trying, or have you tried? This game isn't out yet, right? Comes out.
No, it's not. It. I think early access starts this week, though. Actually.
Okay.
I want to. Oh shoot! I should know this. I think it's Thursday.
You got a lot. You probably on your plate at any given time.
No, I
you don't need to know this. That's fine.
I think it's Thursday. Is early access starts.
I could look at your article. It might say, honestly,
I'm sure I've written about it, but no, like, so they really have changed up so much about this game. Like and they kind of, like I said in the article, they kind of had to, because I mean, Civ 6 is so ingrained in people's things, in people's minds. And with a thing like this, where it's a game about historical kind of stuff, it's like, you can't really change too much.
Right. I mean, when it's like, and it's a series that's been around for like 20 years now, 20 some years. It's like, it's one of those things where they have, the things have got to change, and it obviously can't be history too much.
Yeah.
So it's got to be like some major gameplay shakeups,
Although it is interesting that even though, like, I've always thought this game was interesting because it teaches me about history. Like, I've learned so much. I learned more history from playing this in high school than I did from going to history class in high school.
Wow. That's awesome, actually.
But now this time around with Civ 7, they're changing it so any leader can be over any civilization in any age. So, like, you can play, you know, Harriet Tubman as the leader of Egypt.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
in, like, you know, the ancient era. And it's just like the mixes are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I kind of like that because then it'll make every game very different.
Right.
Like, it's not just going to be, oh, I'm playing as this one civilization and my opponents are playing as these civilizations, so this is just how it's going to be.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know. So I'm excited for that. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to totally take away from historical accuracy. But at the same time,
It can make for some fun, like, mix and matches, though. Like you said, to kind of make it fresh. Because, I'm sure it got to the point where it's like, oh, I'm going up against this civilization. The part, you know, a good matchup, a good counter to that is this one, or I'm going to do this strategy. Like, you kind of just, it was predictable where to be able to mix a little bit.
Because each of the leaders have different traits and things that they're strong in. And then each civilization has different traits and things that they're strong in. And so kind of mixing things up a little bit, it just adds another layer of strategy. And kind I think as far as like the historical part goes, nobody's gonna be confused and think, oh, Harriet Tubman was the leader of Egypt. I mean, I think for the most part people are gonna recognize that that's not historically correct.
Right.
So
At least we hope so. Maybe we have too much faith in people. I don't know.
It's true.
That's awesome. I'm trying to think. I feel like I've played a Civ game. Maybe like Civ 4?
Yeah.
Or 5? One of those.
I mean, the Civ games have kind of just been a staple for decades. So
I grew up, our family had we had Age of Empires on the computer. We had, there was another one. I've never heard of it again. So I don't know if they've maybe never come out with another game or something. I think it's called War of Empires.
I mean, there's a lot of them with those words in the titles.
I think it was called War of Empires.
Because there's Age of Empires.
Or Empire at War? I forget. No, that's a Star Wars game. That's a Star Wars game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was very similar, but what was interesting to me is what I loved about this other game, whatever it's called, is it had you could start in the first epoch or epic or whatever they call it. And, it's like Stone Age. And then you work through all the different ones and go all the way up until there's futuristic, space bombers and nukes and stuff like that. And it's kind of, so it was
that's
a
what
race.
Civilization does.
Right. Okay. So it was it was playing off of that, but it just didn't have the leaders. So it was they took the more the gameplay of Age of Empires, but with having a wider range of history going on with the battles and stuff. And I always loved that game as a blast. But that's kind of was always my experience with RTS games, with and strategy games, with Age of Empires, that War of Empires, and then Warhammer Dawn of War. Probably that's my favorite RTS of all time. If they could just remake that, I'd be happy as a clam. But Civ is a game like I said, I think I've tried it once or twice. I might have gotten it free somewhere. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. But I feel like it'd be more fun with friends and stuff. Do you play typically online with your friends and stuff? It's a lot more fun with
people. Yeah. My brother always plays it, so I usually always play with him and a lot of people. I have some friends and stuff that play it, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun with people, but at the same time, those games can go so long. We had a game that literally, we stopped it and we played the next day. And we had lots of people in this game, but it was 48 hours of gameplay.
My goodness. Yeah.
I mean, it probably wasn't actually that because we slept, but it was 2 days.
Yeah, it was 2 days worth of gameplay.
And it was just oh my gosh. But we also had one person who took forever with his turns. So we would take our turn.
I was always so slow.
I would go and make lunch and come back. Like, okay, it's my turn again. So I don't know. But one thing that Civ 7 is changing is with how it's broken up into 3 different ages. If you want a shorter game, you can just play one age instead of playing, you know, from, like you were saying, the Stone Age to the Space Age. Yeah. You can just pick a section. So that'll be nice for like shorter games.
Yeah. Yeah. Get some short games in there. That's cool. Nice. Well, yeah, that's neat. I don't know. Honestly, reading through this article and hearing some of the features from you, I'm like, I kind of want to try this out. Like, it would be cool.
I'll play with you.
Like, I haven't like really sat down and played like a strategy game in a long time.
Yeah.
And it just sounds fun to kind of get back into, you know? So maybe we'll see.
I'll play with you. We can play on stream.
Yeah, that would be fun. Do a few streams. A 48-hour game over the course of, you know.
Yes, on stream.
We do a subathon and we just play Civ 7 for 24, 48 hours, whatever it takes. Subscribe or we're going to keep playing this game. We will not stop until we
will not
goal.
Stop.
That would be torture. That would turn me off from the game. It went from being like, this is fun. This is fun.
I think that would turn me off from it too.
It's bad.
Like, I need to go pee.
Yeah. No breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.